couple weeks back, we reviewed a global survey done by Consensus. One question asked about the barriers to entering the crypto ecosystem. Too many scams was up there. Around the same time, I received in my inbox an email from AAA. When scanning that email, I was surprised to see a write-up on crypto scams. Is this actually a big problem, or is it mere hype, perhaps made to discredit crypto? A quick search for crypto scams on Google brings up a lot of content, much of it recent. The same is true of YouTube. This first video return has almost 4 million views. It must contain some truth, right? It's an hour long, so I'll give a summary, and yes, I did watch it. The narrator puts forth that Bitcoin had promise, but suffered from scaling issues that were never addressed, and thus can never function as a currency. That's fair. The narrator then says that Bitcoin attracted the suits who sought to use it opportunistically, and that the subsequent waves of ICOs, NFTs, and now Web3 are
a massive mania and bubble that is being fueled by greed and delusion.
Admittedly, there have been plenty of scammy actors in this space, but is it fair to say that crypto is a scam? No, especially as some crypto projects have not given up the goal of being currency and have continued to innovate to see that reality. But viewers of this video were never informed about such offerings. Instead, many will leave with a tarnished image of anything that purports to be crypto. That's a shame. Back to that AAA email. Aside from this claim that crypto cannot be double spent, which is inaccurate for some crypto networks, the text relates to crypto scams involving older folks and cites a figure of 3 billion lost. One scenario, would-be victims receive an email or a cold call, are told there's an issue with their bank, and that they must buy and send crypto to put things right. This is known as a tech scam, and yes, people do fall for them. Consider Marjorie Bloom, whom CNBC covered last month. When Bloom was using her computer, it froze, and a pop-up, ostensibly from Microsoft, but really from a scammer, advised her to call a given number. She did, and was told that hackers had taken personal information from her computer, and that she should speak with someone at her bank. Bloom divulged the name of her bank, PNC, and the scammer then transferred her to an accomplice who posed as a PNC employee. Over the next month, Bloom sent 5 wire transfers totaling $661,000, and which eventually landed in a crypto wallet controlled by the scammers. In another post, this one at Fortune, the most common crypto scam is said to be the fictitious investment opportunity, and that scammers may pose as successful investors, potential romances, or even known friends. A Department of Justice press release from earlier this year noted the seizure of over $100 million in crypto linked to investment scams. As one employee rightly pointed out, using the method of traditional con artists, high-tech fraudsters have taken advantage of the publicity and hype surrounding cryptocurrency to encourage an untold number of Americans to invest in get-rich-quick schemes. This focus on investments is echoed in a write-up at Morgan Stanley, which is understandable as they're an investment bank. At least they acknowledge that crypto can be used for payments, and unlike the other write-ups we reviewed, which tend to outsource responsibility, they conclude with some actionable advice. Be vigilant. But be vigilant, or on the lookout, for what exactly? Let's turn to a pretty trustworthy source, Guy over at Coin Bureau. Last year, his team put together a lengthy video about crypto scams and how to avoid them.
If it sounds too good to be true, then it almost certainly is.
They covered
the giveaway, the rug pull, the impersonation scam, Ponzi schemes, phishing scam, and the pump and dump.
So what can you do to not get scammed in the space?
The moment you remove the idea of easy money from your head, you're never going to be scammed.
Are you involved with crypto only to make a quick buck? Do you see it merely as an investment? Then chances are you'll be more apt to make quick decisions and thus more susceptible to scams. But if you're into crypto to help make the world better, then chances are you'll do your homework. You'll act deliberately. You'll have a long time horizon. That's not to say you won't lose money, but if that happens, it'll be due to the competitive forces of the free market, one product being preferred to another, rather than a malicious actor. To summarize this point, if you really want to mitigate your risk of being scammed, you may need to change your mindset. You may need to ditch the materialism that's pretty ingrained in our culture. Beyond one's mindset, what else can be done to mitigate being scammed? Easy. Don't trust a stranger with your crypto. Trust yourself. What does this mean? Cease using custodial services and instead self-custody your crypto. Especially attractive for older adults who may not be as tech-savvy, may be a novel custody solution such as a multi-signature. Thus, if grandma is about to get scammed, her kids, before signing with their own keys, may realize that things sound odd and investigate to ensure that the scammers don't win. And while not the main aim, if we're successful, if we build a crypto that becomes currency, it will assuredly have more stability. And with more stability means less get-rich-quick schemes could find purchase. Let's make it happen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Incubator Weekly. Hi,
Hey,
Ryan.
everyone.
Hi, Mikhail.
Hey, yeah, let's make it happen.
Right? You know, I have wondered, if anybody can give me a brief answer, what are we missing in Dash, if anything, that having a multi-sig wallet is not much easier? Because I am embarrassed to say that I actually am related to an older person who actually bought Dash from me. And fast forward a number of years later, despite my best efforts back then to show him how to guard his private keys, he lost them. And now his Dash is gone. And I'm just thinking to myself, why didn't I set him up with a multi-sig where, say, like Pete and I could have kept track for him? What are we missing that's not like in a wallet already, the mobile wallet?
Yeah, like a
Or
one,
in-
like
or
one
in
of two.
wallet.
One of two.
What? One
Go
of
ahead,
two?
Mikhail.
Hey everyone. So
Oh,
first of all, I want to thank everyone who voted for me in the last Superblock for my proposal. I really appreciate that. Really, a lot of nodes have voted for me, and that's really a lot, a lot of support. So
Mikhail,
yeah,
before you get started, I'm actually curious. I don't know if you heard Amanda's question, but do you know of any multi-sig? Do you know of any multi-sig libraries or applications for Dash right now?
I can't remember one. I don't really remember.
Yeah, the last one that I remember was our fork of it was a BitPay wallet, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was what was it?
Dashcore-cli.
Copay?
Copay, that's right. Yeah, that was the last application that I've seen that had Dash multi-sig support in a user interface, and I'm pretty sure that I think that the library probably supports it, but I don't know of anybody who's put a UI around that library, if it even exists, the library at this point.
Is Copay still around? Or
no, I don't think so. Not in the Dash version anyway.
Okay.
I also don't remember this kind of stuff in the core, so I don't remember much in the libraries that we have in the JavaScript, and all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is on my Christmas wish list for Dash. I'll just say that now. So, moving on, we are here to speak today about Mikhail's projects for this quarter. Both what is, well, actually, I don't even know what he's going to tell us. So why don't we just go right to what you have to tell us, Mikhail?
Yeah. So I'm already working on some few of the projects in the Dash Incubator. Some of them are Dash Electrum. Some of them is the Dashmate that I continuously contribute. That helps you to set up master nodes and stuff like that. I'm also taking care of the AnyPay integration, and which is this of the self non-custodial payment processor, and there are other stuff like so there are some other projects like Platform Explorer, for example, which have gained a lot of interesting features last week. So I wanted to share you with some updates that I have right now, and let me show you. Let me start from the Platform Explorer.
Good.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the last 2 weeks, we spent the time on the Identities features, and the Identities features is finally live on the Platform Explorer. That does mean that now you can search identities. You can see identities data like identities balance, identities transactions, transfers, and other things.
And that was a forum post on the Dash forum. So if anybody wants to look at that in detail, that's where it is.
Yeah. So now we have pretty much basic functionality implemented in the Platform Explorer in both
Ooh.
front and the API. So now we can see the extended statistics. We can see on the homepage the latest transactions. We can view all of our identities if we click on some of them. There are some UI maybe issues on some resolutions, but we can see all the data. We can see the transfers. We can see the balance right here. For some reason, this has zero balance, but it has documents. I don't know why is it happening. Sorry. So anyway, this one, for example, have this amount of credits, and this was a top up in these transactions. We can see the particular transactions that was sent by this identity, and we can also check any data contracts. We also had a really big redesign of the Platform Explorer, so it can look more human readable, and stuff like that. We can check the data contracts and can see the documents that being inserted inside the data contract that is stored inside the data contract. We can see the schema of this application that we have right now. For example, this one, I believe, I think that's something like Dash Money stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For example, this one, the first one should be some of them should be the DPNS data contract, not this one, I think, but anyway. So yeah.
Quick question before you move on: Is testnet? I've seen a lot of back and forth chatter on the testnet channel of the devs or Dash devs Discord.
Yeah, there are issues right now. There are issues with the banning of the EVA nodes. The team is finding the problem right now. I guess it's stalled still. As we can see, yeah, for hours the platform testnet is not working again, but the guys should fix it soon. And happily, I didn't do anything. For example, last time that chain was halted, they unbound the nodes, restarted the platform. The platform chain wasn't it wasn't wiped. It was just as soon as the quorums was restored, it just continued working, just continued proposing the blocks, and and my node, I didn't change anything in the backend. It just continuously pulled up all the blocks. So as soon as the network will remain stability, the Platform Explorer should continue indexing blocks.
Is there anything on this Platform Explorer that shows the Dash testnet uptime or downtime?
Not yet, but you can see it by the timestamp of the last block. That's a good idea. I think it's worth making a message like some warning message if there are no blocks in last like 1 hour or stuff like that. We can show a yellow warning like the chain might be stalled or stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good idea. And actually, we gotta have some kind of dashboard of monitoring of all of our services eventually, so we can check and monitor stuff better.
Okay.
So yeah, the basic stuff is there, and the new features of the Platform Explorer. I don't know what would be the next step for the platformers exactly. There are some features on the GitHub that they already have. Well, not this one. Sorry. So there are some of the issues that's left, but I think you can guys suggest me an idea for my Platform Explorer project. What you wanna see on the Platform Explorer? Any kind of backend or front end stuff. For example, one of the feature could be like like subscriptions on some kind of events or stuff like that. You can fill anything you want. I will check on that, and hopefully.
And how would you prefer people make those requests?
In the GitHub projects, like in the GitHub issues.
Okay.
Just a technical question out of curiosity. What is the back end of your project for the Explorer doing other than delivering and serving the HTML page? Is anything being
actually, yeah, I can answer your question. So the HTML is being rendered by React. It's totally the client-side application. And there is a Node.js backend API that could be used by anyone. Like I will create a separate how-to, page, like manual page where you can see how to use Platform Explorer API. So there is API where you can query blocks, you can query transactions, state transitions, transfers. You can decode transactions. Like you can just send straight base 64 string and decode it without being dependent on the Dash SDK library to decode it.
Okay, so when a user makes a request to the website for the Platform Explorer, the backend presumably is then calling into Platform on the server side and then delivering the data, populating the HTML, sending it to the client.
It actually pulls. It actually fires a request to the API backend. It fetches everything from the Postgres SQL. So there is an indexer.
You have a Postgres database?
Yes. Indexer is posting everything into Postgres database. Each block, I continuously index each blocks in the platform network.
And why, just from a technical standpoint, why do that versus just get data updates from the client?
Because it's faster, it's more consistent, it's more flexible. Because we can do some kind of statistics. We can. I think it's faster. It's faster because we have everything not locally, but it's much faster than we would fire DAPI queries. And actually, I don't think that everything could be implemented with the DAPI.
Okay, and then just one more technical question. When the application is served to the browser, is it real-time updating, or do you have to do a hard refresh on your browser to get new data?
Not yet. Yeah, you have to hard refresh right now, but it's a good idea to include it. So I was thinking about that.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm pumped to look through this Platform Explorer because I remember, first learning about blockchain or whatever years ago. Like, it's one thing to read about it and talk to people about it, but then for me anyway, it was a little light turned on the first time I looked at a blockchain explorer, and it helped it make more sense. So I'm keen to dig into this. What else do you have for us?
So yeah, another project is the Dash Electrum that we recently fixed for the V12 testnet. We implemented new Coinbase transactions, and I also checked the Transifex translations. We updated the Transifex translations for the Russian for the Russian translations. It's now 100% translated, and we released a new version which also includes new backend servers for the Dash Electrum, which was out for some time. So now we have Dash Electrum working, and everyone who downloads the recent Dash Electrum version, he will be able to use it without any issues. There is
Wait, do they have to manually enter any server configurations, or does it come by default now?
If you download the version, the latest version is 4.5.7.2. You don't need to do anything. You will be okay. The servers are hard coded in the code, the default servers, which currently points to my infrastructure, which I which I maintenance.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah,
People can change that if they want. Can they go to your repo, and is there enough documentation on the server Electrum server repo so that somebody can spin up their own backend instance and reconfigure their front end to point to their own server?
And actually, the pull request for the Dash V12 change. So for testnet, I think there is a pull request that should be merged by the maintainer, which is still not merged. But for mainnet, yeah, there is documentation. The Electrum server is okay for mainnet. Like for V19, what we have in mainnet, everything is working of the Electrum server. So anyone who wants to deploy that, there is already a documentation. There is already like the code base. Everything is okay. Everything is supported. Yeah, for V12, for the testnet, for our future fork, we have to do some things. Yeah. There is still missing private send support. The LLMQ quorum is still not quite working correctly. I'm looking into that already, and I think I will have something in the upcoming weeks.
Do you know what specifically broke about the server side or even client side private send support that needed to be fixed?
Yeah, I checked. I think there are different things. Like first is the client, which does not like loads up the master node lists for some reason, and I think the server side will also need to be updated, like the Electromix stuff.
Okay, so there was some kind of breaking change in
there
call between the time that the last maintainer set it down and you picked it up.
Yeah. The breaking change was introduced, I believe, in July in the V19 fork. There was changes in LLMQ forms, so I just have to update it. I don't think that would be so hard. So I just need to deepen into that, and yeah.
And then last question on Electrum for me is, do you have you tested the mobile client application? I'm not sure if it's a different application. I'm pretty sure it is a different application, like on Android. Is that working with your server backend?
That's a good question. Personally, I don't. I didn't. So okay. There is APK. So I mean, the build is out. Like the build is there of the new version. We have to check it. I personally haven't checked it yet.
Okay.
What else we have? As for Dashmate, there is another release, another stable release of the Dashmate, and we included some very important changes. One of them.
Zoom in a bit if you can.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let me just zoom it in.
Looks good.
So the most important change was that we changed the way Dashmate renders the service configs, like the configs for the Dash core, for the drive, for the tender dash. So previously, we just every time you just run the Dashmate command, it was re-rendering all the service configs. That was causing some troubles because it wasn't so idempotent in our deploy tool in the Ansible. So it was changing some things, and it was also making some weird behavior in the Docker environment where basically I fixed it in the Docker entry point script, but it was causing some troubles with the permissions because it was rewriting as root. So anyway, the approach was like there was some advantages of this approach. So you could just simply change your config, and every run it will just re-render all of your service configs. But it also has some downside, like it's not quite efficient that you write your configs every run when there is nothing really changed. So we changed that and made it like, it just don't re-renders everything on the each run. Also introduced a new command which will be very like useful for people, like when you need to throw some stuff in the core. Like there is now a command dashcore-cli, dashcore-cli, which lets you execute core RPC commands. It may be helpful when you, like, for example, want to find out what's wrong with your node, or maybe you want to do some stuff. I don't know. You want to check chain logs, quorums, whatever.
Yeah. So just to recap what that means to me is anything that you could run using the Dash core, the native Dash core binary from the RPC, like get status or get info or any of those, even masternode, proreg tx, I'm assuming any kind of command that you could run with Dash CLI, you can now run through Dashmate. Is that right?
Yes. So that you don't need to copy your Docker container ID and manually execute Docker access. So some complicated commands is just simplify the approach. Like you just can simply, type the Dashmate core CLI and type your command without any unnecessary stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I also fixed the payment key position that was reported earlier by Quizzy, and extended the enabled count to respect the Dashcore statistics that they show the total count of the regular master nodes, of the even nodes, total and enabled count. And very, very useful thing that really already helped us. This is the config migration unit test that ensures that our build doesn't break the config and everything is, there is a configuration, and this configuration often changes over the versions. Like some stuff is being added to the config, and we have to migrate a config each version. When the new version is out, you have to do some kind of migration of your config to so that it matches the new schema. So there is a unit test that's being run in the CI, which ensures that we don't break and all the versions that we have in our config matches what we expect. So it already helped us a few times during our latest release, and this was really, really good stuff. I also so that was kind of all of my recent updates, and I wanted to let you know about my plans. One of the projects that people was asking me to check is the Trust Wallet that doesn't enable InstantSend. People always like asking why the Trust Wallet is not loading. The zero confirmation is not working in the Trust Wallet.
This is the trust, the mobile Trust Wallet application.
Yes, exactly.
Like a third party. They're asking about a third party wallet that, DCG, nobody in Dash is maintaining. This is obviously a separate application altogether.
I reach out to devs of the Trust Wallet. Happily, they are also Russian speaking, and we talked about this thing. And so the thing is, they use Blockbook API, which is the Trezor backend. If anyone knows that. They use like xpub API call, which Blockbook does support the InstantSend. You can query these specific things like there is a query for text specific, but it isn't implemented for UTXO query calls. So there are different calls when you can get the transaction. Yeah, you can get the transaction, but the Trust Wallet is loading the whole balance by the XPub, which is basically the seed phrase. So there is a API call on the Blockbook API, which
It's called Blogbook, or how is that spelled?
yeah,
Blog-
Blockbook is the API backend for acquiring balances, like some kind of blockchain info or any other provider of the API. So basically, there is a API call that shows you the account balance by the seed phrase, and this call doesn't include the InstantSend transactions. I made an issue. I created an issue in the blogbook, trying to ask them how can I proceed with that. So my idea right now is there is two approaches. First approach, I will try to modify the 6pub API call and suggest guys to include these changes. The second option is to go with some other thing that is also in the API, but a bit a different way. So right now, the key thing here in the Trust Wallet is that they rely on the Blockbook API that doesn't show you instant and confirmed transactions. We have to have a way to, I don't know. Or
yeah,
maybe
it's a bit troubling because Trezor is, obviously Dash didn't include Dash in their latest model.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a little bit less of a priority to support Dash things over on the Trezor side. So hopefully, they'll get this in there. But that is interesting to know that Trust Wallet is using Blockbook for their backend.
Yeah, I know about this thing, but still, I think this is just a software. Like we can just pull the changes in and make all the work that we need without
it's just software, Trezor. Listen to Mikhail. It's pretty easy.
Did they have any comments on your issue yet, or no?
Not yet. It's not that regularly maintain it. There is one maintainer which I didn't find the explicit contacts, which I can ask. But I hope if I have something already, there is some Go code. The whole project is in the Go. I think I need to make some changes and just
make it easy for them.
Propose it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2 weeks ago in the comment right there, and I'm just wondering, okay, obviously they have triage over there, and they're not going to get to issues right away. But 2 weeks, that's been quite a while. So yeah, I think a pull request would be a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to look into that so that more wallets, more third-party wallets will support InstantSend and zero conf transactions, so that we can increase our adoption.
Yeah, Trust Wallet's a big deal. I think that they're one of, if not the biggest and most with the most users mobile wallet anywhere. So that is a big deal.
Yeah,
I use it. I use Trust Wallet. It's a good app. So I think this would be a good thing to do.
Yeah. So there are other project ideas that I have that mostly about the development of the platform development and development tools. There are not quite. I don't have quite specifications on them yet, but I can just briefly just tell you about the things that we probably miss. One thing that I was thinking about is that we miss some kind of migration tools for data contracts. For example, in the Ethereum, we have a tool for deploying your contracts. It's called, if I remember, it's inside the Truffle test suite. So there is a migration tool that allows you to just insert your seed phrase, and it will deploy into your network, and it will store some side, like it will deploy your contract, and as a result, it will give you some kind of state file which you have as the deployed smart, like as a deployed thing. For example, we have Dash Testnet being wiped pretty often, and every time that network comes up again, every dApp creators have to deploy their tools, like their data contracts again, and they do that via custom scripts, like for the Dash SDK, they just made it for the front end, or some from the Node.js side. So I think it's worth to have some kind of migration tool that will help you keep your data contracts in the network, you know. Yeah,
an easy redeploy tool, and not only redeploying after testnet is platform or mainnet.
Yes.
But also schema changes. So
yeah, definitely. So as the project goes on, like you have different versions of the data contracts, you have to deploy it each time. So developers should have that tool to do that.
What's the overall process right now? If somebody wants to create a Dash platform app, what is the overall process that they should go through?
They have to write up a data contract schema. Then
and what's the best way to do that?
I think dashpay.io.
I was wondering if you'd say that. So that is still the gold standard for. Do you want to bring that site up real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So if you want to create a data contract that would be stored on Dash platform, this is the easiest way to do that so far still.
Yeah, you can just scratch some fields, you know, and render it. So
yeah, and then what's the step after that?
The next step would be to deploy it with your Dash SDK. So for that, you need to create a page if you're doing it from the front end, or you need to make a script where you can import this contract. It can import via JSON, or you can just put it straight in the code. So it's kind of complicated. You need to also take care of your private keys, of the seed phrases, and yeah.
This site does not deploy your.
Yes, exactly.
Just creates the schema.
It's not yet allows you to deploy your data contract, but as I remember, Paul was telling like he's about to add this feature on the website. So maybe sometime this feature will come up on this website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What I'm also going to do is I want to like create some videos. I want to create some media on how to make this development, like how the development is working in the Dash, and how to make things like in the recent weeks. I'm going to shoot some videos which will show you how to install some things, like install some tools and stuff like that, like Dashmate, or videos like how to use Dash SDK to query stuff or stuff like that. So that that can help people which really running into problems while picking up the the Dash platform development, like they are just getting into development, and they get some errors, and they just don't know why this is happening. And such videos, I think, will show like the exit steps, like what is missing. And yeah, that should also advertise some platform stuff, and I believe that will increase like the whole thing will. Okay, it's just a good idea to have these videos,
Yeah, I think a lot of people rely on stuff like that, where when they want to get started with something, documentation is always a good place. It's good to have good documentation, but I don't think that there's no substitute for just seeing somebody do something. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And what channel do you intend to publish your videos on, Mikhail?
I don't know yet. I'm okay with any. Like I only care about the content,
Okay.
Like,
and will it be in English, in Russian, in both? What do you think?
It's good. It's a good question. I think both. I think we should do both. There is a quite good demand in the both, in the English and in the Russian language. There are quite a good demand on such videos, especially for the videos describing how platform works and what is actually platforms. Many people still don't understand what it is about and why this is important. Like they only might be care for like for other things, but don't really understand what the Dash platform is. So yeah, I think we should do all of the stuff. What I want to do is just start doing that in any like term, like
Okay, yeah,
Sounds good.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think, as far as I'm concerned, you're more than welcome to stream some of your work through the Incubator channel, like AJ has done. I'd like to get more people.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. I will think about that. I was thinking actually, not really, like I was doing some other stuff at the time.
Yeah, just something to consider. That invitation's open to you and others as well if they want to get involved. So
okay, yeah, okay, sure. That's quite good idea.
Anything else that you covered what you have worked on. You covered what you are planning on working on in the next couple months here through the end of Q4. Anything else that we missed?
Yeah, there is some one project that I was posting on the Dash forum that was about the Dashmate, related to the Dashmate. That's just about the Dashmate mobile application that will allow you to query, to check the status of your nodes.
I remember you mentioning that before.
It was called like Dashmate remote control, I believe. Yeah, there was a proposal for such application, and I made a couple of designs or some like scratches for this application to let you know what you think about that. So the idea of application is pretty straight. You can have your Dashmate deployments. You have some Dashmate nodes, like you have mainnet. You can have mainnet. You can have testnet nodes, platform nodes, local nodes, anything that is being deployed to the server. You can configure your nodes in the application. You can add them as a list. And then the application will query that through the SSH, through the secure protocol. This will query your status of your node, if it's online and when the next payment is occurring. It will allow you to make some changes in your Dashmate node, like you can restart it, check logs, execute some commands, stuff like that.
Does this launch nodes or just check the status of existing nodes? Because the former would be a lot more work. I'm sure.
Yeah. Theoretically, we can do both ways. Right now, it's just only checking. Like it's just a mockups, first of all.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But right now, the Dashmate allows you to check the status. The Dashmate API, I believe, is only being run when you just start the node. But I think it's not technically technically you can do that. There is nothing stops you from making that. Like you can even set up, you can even you can stop, start, and do all of the stuff and set up your new nodes. And I think this application can also like be very useful for some master node operators, which I believe this can be integrated in some master node hoster like CrowdNode. Well, not CrowdNode, but maybe some other people who also have some master node hosting solutions. They can leverage this application for their clients to let know what is actually is going on with their Dashmate nodes. I think that pretty much it. What I wanted to share with you.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah, great.
I think that's all we need to know. So thanks for your preparation and sharing with all of that with us today, Mikhail. I'm going to go dig through the Platform Explorer as soon as we end this call.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We'll see you next week, everyone.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.